Here is one of the books by a Freemason and an occultist, Paul Foster Case. And I think these were written in the first half of the 20th century, around 1920s or so. One of these is called The Great Seal of the United States, Its History, Symbolism, and Message for the New Age. Sometimes these people can't help but brag, and they reveal all their secrets. I read on masoncode.com that you can't order the books by this guy. Like, you can't buy these books unless you were a member of the Builders of the Adytum for 15 years. You have to be a member of the Builders of the Adytum for 15 years in order to buy these books. You know, Builders of the Adytum being the publisher. Can't verify if that's true, though. But if it is, it's obvious they don't want this information out in the public light. And you just have to scroll through the book, and it's crystal clear why they don't want these books read or known about. But I don't need to buy books. I just pirate them. And I was able to pirate this one and a few others. Gematria is referenced in this book. The obsession with the number 13 is presented in this book. The nation started as 13 colonies, 13 stars on the flag, 13 stripes on the flag, the eagle holding 13 arrows. Freemasonry and secret society in full reduction sum to 58. 58 reduces to 13. 5 plus 8 is 13. The Star of David is right on the seal of the United States. That shows you right there who created this country and for whom. In God We Trust is 58 in full reduction as well. The nation was founded in the year 76. 7 plus 6 is 13. But anyway, here's a nice whopper of a passage from this book. This passage alone should, once and for all, put to bed any doubts about what's going on here. Straight from the horse's mouth, too. Deny it some may, repudiate it others do, but the fact remains that the government of the United States of America, like that of ancient Israel, was conceived as being really a theocracy, a government ruled by God, working through the outward forms of democracy, but doomed to ignominious failure should it ever remove the first of the ancient landmarks of Freemasonry, recognition of the overshadowing presence of the great architect of the universe, and submission to his will as revealed in the laws of nature. This isn't just some kooky observation someone is throwing out. This is literally a member of the Cabal himself, revealing the symbolism of all the crap that you see on the dollar bill, and what the true intent of this nation was all along. United States was to be a military might of the New World Order, a military might of Israel. This book is literally explaining from the point of view of the founders why they chose the symbols they chose to represent the United States, and what their intention was for this country. And it is a theocracy, not in a sense that you will be punished for being an atheist, but in a sense how the media and the federal government, day in and day out, script and stage all sorts of actions and phony events and disasters to distract everyone. And they script them by a Kabbalistic gematria code, which they believe comes straight from their God. You can't even bash this democracy, because there isn't one. All the presidents and governors and all the politicians are installed by a script. All the laws are decided by the script, in combination with psychological warfare in the media that causes the masses to accept these laws. Elections and campaigns are shams to keep the goyim duped. A theocracy working through the outward forms of democracy. What exactly does that mean? That the democracy is nothing but theater? It's an illusion that is upheld through never-ending psyops? See how I made a mountain out of a molehill, all because of some passage in some obscure book that I haven't even read yet, written by some weirdo 70 years ago, and apparently that proves America is an evil country. John and Ken would ridicule me for this. Anyway, let's examine the fictional character FBI agent Pendergast. After years and years of absorbing these books, I never realized until recently the Masonic symbolism of the character. The checkered floor, or the black and white checkerboard, is a Masonic symbol. They like black and white checkered floors. Black and white. Why is the police car black and white? Masonry controls the police. The police car is like a white tile between two black tiles. Of course, there are many cities where police cars aren't black and white anymore, because people complained that it looks too harsh and intimidating, and they want the police to look more friendly. But now you know why the police car is generally black and white. I can't quote a source on that, but it's the most logical deduction. Special Agent Pendergast of the FBI is an albino, whose skin and hair is almost marble white. He wears a black suit with a white shirt and a black tie. Always a black suit. So his whole color scheme as a person, his whole outward appearance, is a combination of black and white, just like the Masonic floor tiles. And he sure lives like a Freemason, like some kind of a Bruce Wayne with an FBI badge instead of a Batman costume. He lives in a way that only the elite Jew families live in this world. And he has a bloodline of wealthy, influential, psychopath ancestors, with a focus on a familial bloodline, which is something Jews, elite Jews, generally fixate on. Of course, just how it is for every top Freemason, I'm sure. No Freemasonry will be mentioned in the books, of course. It's the most well-known secret society, but still a secret. But the symbolism is definitely there. The reason I realized that Pendergast's color scheme of being black and white is Masonic symbolism is by seeing this cover image for a song Down in the Park on Zach Hubbard's blog. I already knew about black and white being Masonic symbolism, but in this image you see a man who is totally white, whether due to lighting or being an albino, with every item of his clothing being black. And that's when it clicked that this Pendergast character is similar, a very white man in a black suit. By way of gematria, Pendergast's name pays tribute to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. The character's full name is Aloysius Jingu Leng Pendergast. And no, he's not Chinese, despite having two Chinese-sounding middle names. In full reduction, his name sums to 127, and 143 in reverse full reduction, just like Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. It must have been a hell of a work to come up with a name to make that kind of a double numeric match. Pendergast 109.53, albino 109.53. Wow, they did a good job there. Federal Agent 53, Pendergast 53, Aloysius Pendergast 77 full reduction. 77 is a number that pays tribute to more Masonic bullshit. Secret Society 77, Power 77, Zionist 77, Judaism 77, United States 77. These writers should take their Pendergast books and shove them up their asses. The books are propaganda. Pendergast is a nerd who lives and dresses like a metrosexual yuppie, and yet has the ability to pull off all kinds of unrealistic ninja bullshit. He was in the special forces, and yet he's so spoiled he needs the best, most expensive things, and he flaunts his wealth. These books, like all books that feature cops or federal agents as main characters, are written to promote the impression that we need the government to keep us safe from various boogeymen. Well, learn gematria and you'll see that pretty much every boogeyman the government saves us from is either created by the government or it's a hoax. The books also create the impression that reporters will stop at nothing to get to the truth. These books are designed to get you to admire the media and the law enforcement, both entities that are the enemies of the people. I can live with reading propaganda as long as it's entertaining propaganda. There is really no choice. Every fucking novel out there is based on a world that they want us to perceive, rather than how the world really is. Except their Pendergast propaganda has stopped being entertaining lately. These writers need to take the last 3 Pendergast books they've written, I actually doubt they even wrote them, and shove them up their asses. Why did more people buy Verses for the Dead than they did my Dance of Death, a James Grider novel? What's funny is Dance of Death is a stolen fucking title from a Pendergast book, though thematically both books have nothing to do with each other. What's even more interesting is there are tiny pieces in both James Grider books where I literally copied passages out of Pendergast novels, verbatim. But anyway, the Pendergast book series are dead. They've been garbage the last 3 years. Time to end them and not write another one. While the gematria coincidences that occurred with James Grider's name is a coincidence, I highly doubt the gematria overlaps with Pendergast's name are a coincidence too. No doubt all famous writers are in the Masonic cult, or they wouldn't be famous writers. You have 2 choices. Either slog through a boring book like Verses for the Dead, or slog through a hilariously stupid book most people would find impossible to take seriously, like a James Grider book. I lack vocabulary skills, and I am very uncreative with my vocabulary as well. Those really are the 2 options on the market. How many mindless thrillers can you read about America's government saving the world from various sci-fi dangers, when in real life America's government is hard at work creating those dangers in the real world?